tariff clearly is the buzz of the town, and what impact will tariffs have on global commodity market? To discuss exactly this, we are now joined by Mr. Dhruv Goel, CEO at Big Mint. Dhruv, good afternoon, and thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. First up, if you can tell us, how have these recent US tariffs reshaped global trade flows, especially when it comes to steel and aluminium? And what kind of impact will this have then on the global commodity market?
First of all, thank you, Aisha, for having me at your show. To answer your question, although there is a lot of fluctuation, a lot of uncertainty in the market, but in the short term, we have not seen a significant change in the prices. Prices are very range bound. Especially because US has been a very regional market. There were already tariffs or Section 232 imposed on steel and aluminium for almost all the countries. So the additional tariff has limited impact at the moment. The countries which are impacted the most are the countries like Canada, Brazil, which used to supply or which had advantages of duty free or lesser duty exposed to US. But at the moment, there's not much of impact seen. Another reason being that because there's the statements that that come from US government keeps changing so frequently that people do not know whether to shift their manufacturing to US or whether in case if these tariffs will stay, what will be the quantum. So yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, but in the short term, we have not seen a significant change in the trade flows or the prices.
Okay, so you're saying that in the short term, we are not seeing or expecting any impact on the commodity market or trade flows. But Dhruv, if you can also tell us what kind of impact is this having in the US market then? Is domestic US production inching higher really because of this? And is inflation a factor over there when it comes to steel and aluminium prices?
Yes, to a certain extent, we have seen that the industrial activities or the manufacturing activities are picking up, but it will not be very easy for US to shift, to move away from import to domestic production for obvious reasons, because the labor is expensive, the energy prices are expensive. But if I have to give you some context to steel, so this year, US will be producing approximately 82 million ton of steel against 78 million ton. Compared, if you see last year, Japan was the third largest steel producer in the world. This year, US will become the third largest steel producer. But in the longer run, definitely we see manufacturing shifting to US. Although it will add to the inflation, but definitely add to their economy.
Okay, and I wanted your thoughts on the kind of impact it will have on countries including India. Now that the goods will not go into the United States, will it indirectly impact countries like India on account of higher supply?
No, so especially if you talk about India, India has very limited exposure to US, both in terms of steel and aluminium. It is less than maybe 2 to 3%. So immediate, as I said, that will not have impact on India as well. But at the same time, the indirect exports, which used to happen in the form of general engineering or auto components or any commodity which had steel or aluminium, if that comes under the purview of additional tariff, that will get impacted, and that will have indirect impact on the steel consumption in the domestic market.
Understood. Dhruv, we get that point and the kind of impact it will have on global commodity market and trade flow as well. Dhruv, thank you so much for taking your time.